Let's take a look at the latest on our severe tropical storm Podul, also known as Gorio, in the Philippines. And at this time, it is continuing to get impacted by a wind shear, and thus it's down to, like I said, severe tropical storm intensity from a typhoon yesterday by JMA. I was actually fairly surprised JMA had it as a typhoon. It's just getting battered by a lot of shear on its northern periphery. It is still having that big bulk of convection just towards the south, but the low-level center is actually up in here. So overall, this is really good news, especially for Taiwan, where this is headed. Bad news is it is heading towards an area that is, well, a little bit more favorable for intensification. There probably is going to be another burst of strengthening before this comes on shore as you go ahead through Wednesday morning into the afternoon across south and eastern Taiwan before crossing over the island, bringing a whole mess of rainfall with it, and then moving out there towards southeastern China as well, just towards north and east of Hong Kong here. Yeah, the worst of it, you can see right here, this is midday on Wednesday. Definitely going to be a big rainmaker, as is always the case when we're talking about a tropical system like this making landfall in the mountains of Taiwan. It just always brings a tremendous amount of precipitation. Also, a closer look at the islands of Ishigaki and Miyako-jima. They're really missing out on the core. I have seen these islands hit by super typhoons head on time and time again. There's never really significant damage, so it's just the way the island's built. It's absolutely incredible. Just a bunker out there. But my point is, this is going to pass towards the south, so nothing to really worry about in Japan. And even southeastern areas of Taiwan, yeah, there is a lot of communities here. I've been out here and I've been through a super typhoon once here in southeastern Taiwan, where the next day kind of picks up and everybody goes about their business, but doesn't take away the fact that you definitely need to at least make some of those preparations out here. If you have any friends, especially along the east coast of Taiwan, Taipei is going to be missing the worst of it, but for sure further towards the south, getting all those rough conditions. And it's not just, this one particular model, but JMA, GWC, CWB, that of course is Taiwan's meteorological agency, Bagasa, HKO, all agree kind of on a very similar path. Now, keep in mind, the closer these storms get to the coast, it happens time and times again that the mountains there of Taiwan are basically just a wall. So a lot of times you'll see the track bounce around these mountains and the storm gets disrupted. A little of a center moves around because it just can't. I mean, you can even see that here with the wind barbs, how the winds kind of wrap around the mountains. That's the same deal. Guarantee it. Watch the radar out of Taiwan when this gets near the coast. I should write a book about it because it's absolutely incredible to see every time. It just kind of, and the further south it goes, so if it takes a southerly track, I almost guarantee the low-level center is going to bounce around and come like that. Still brings that right front quadrant, that onshore flow, so a lot of these areas, especially in the mountains where no one really lives, but the water's got to go somewhere, it runs down to the coast, are going to see spots 200-300 millimeters, but isolated locales could see 500 to 1,000 millimeters easy. Now, as this moves off towards the west, I don't really have anything out here else developing, but we do have a couple broad troughs over the Philippines that's going to set up late week. You can see that right there. Look at this, all that, the kind of in showers. You have a low trying to develop there, and that is going to increase the showers for our friends across the Philippines. But point is, I guess, is make sure you're being smart, especially in the Taiwan with this storm. And if there's any floodwaters, just avoid them. Remember, even trying to drive through floodwaters, even if you know it doesn't look deep, road could be washed out. You actually could be surprised. So here's another broader look, a little bit over towards the Philippines and southeastern Asia. You see this move onshore in the China, but then there's that other low I was talking about. You kind of have that enhanced monsoonal flow wrapping in like that. It's not a full-on habagat, but just added instability with the elongated trough. And along these troughs, sometimes you can kind of see right here trying to develop. Sometimes you get at least monsoonal gyres and maybe even tropical storms developing. So for Visayas, Mindanao, especially since it's a little bit closer to you, I would highly suggest monitoring the forecast for a tropical system later this week. No one's really warning on it or anything. I'm just seeing the groundworks for something like that to be laid at this time for bringing an increased threat of a tropical system out there. But for now, I mean, number one thing, of course, is we're going to continue to monitor our storm system. We're going to continue to track this as it nears Taiwan, and of course, I'll do my best to continue to keep you posted. So yeah, big shout out to all our Patreon members. You can see right there, you guys are awesome. Seeing a few of you, really like seeing your names on there, and I really like showing it because you deserve it. You don't have to donate to this channel. I'll never put it behind a paywall either. My goal is to help most people out as possible by helping me with some of these Patreon assistance there. Just by donating, you can help me afford stuff like this and the graphics and just all this. So up until the last 10 years, I've been taking out of my own paycheck, and ever since I put in the Patreon, I can make these upgrades and afford data and all that stuff because of you. And a lot of the models I use behind the scenes and even with forecasting and all that. So that's all. All right, friends. If you have any questions, though, additional questions, just let me know, and I'll do my best to get back to you. As always, though, stay safe out there, and I hope you're having a good day.